So when I was really young, I started my own business. We made millions selling test and measurement equipment to the government. I had whatever I wanted, and I could have afforded anything. I could give away money to anyone. I could do all of these kind, good things. But I realized that happiness isn't going to come from money and success, but I needed something deeper. I grew up in a successful Jewish family. My parents did well. My grandparents did exceedingly well. Our Jewishness was really important, particularly to my father's mother, on our identity and who we were. There's one time I went to a mall, and there was some Christians that came up to me to tell me about faith in Jesus, and I just remember getting angry with them. This Jesus who you're following is a false prophet. Why are you sharing this with me? I'm Jewish, and unreasonable anger, really, that I had towards them. I suffered from depression when I was younger and really struggled with it, and I was even suicidal. I would often contemplate killing myself. There's this overlying feeling of, I'm not loved like I want to be loved, and I can't love others like I want to love others. So my depression, it led to this emptiness, and so I would seek friendship, I would seek love from people who would accept it, and I found that amongst the community that was involved with drugs and alcohol, and that really affected my grades and my education, and to the point to where eventually the principal, I remember calling me to his office, and he told me that he's kicking me out of school. You're not going to come back to this school any longer, and he said, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you don't come back to this school. When I was in college, I befriended this guy who was sitting next to me, and one day he asked me if I wanted to do something with him. I didn't hear what he said, and so I said okay, and so we started going downstairs, and he asked me if I had my Bible. Bible? Why would I have a Bible? I'm Jewish. I don't want anything to do with this. He had answers for everything, and so I ended up going into this study. They went to a book called Luke, in chapter 15, and there's a story of a young man who wanted his inheritance early from his father, and he took it and he went and he squandered it and just lived crazy and lived wild life and lost everything. And then he remembered that even the servants in his father's house lived better than he was living, and so he was going to go back home and be his father's servant. And he went home, and his dad saw him and missed him and loved him and embraced him and really said, "You're not my servant, you're my son." I had never, ever felt anything like this in my life. I felt this peace over me and this feeling of acceptance and an overwhelming love. Oh my gosh. There is a God who loves me. And what I've been doing for years has been just separating me from him. And the way to know him is through this person who is speaking in these words, that person Yeshua. I found another New Testament and I started reading sections out of it, and every time I'm reading it, the same thing is happening, the same joy, the same love. And it was removing my depression. I was no longer suicidal. And I was thinking, how could a book do this? How could just reading words do that to me? I broke down. I just came to the realization of this is real. That through this person, Yeshua, I can be reconciled to God, and everything that I did that separated me from him, all of this life that I was living that was completely isolating me from him, that despite those things, he loved me. And through this person, he wanted me to come to know him personally. I owe my life to Jesus because I know full-heartedly that I would have killed myself if it wasn't for what he did in me. And how powerful that he gave his life so I could have it. And now I understand love.